Hi, welcome to Business Link. I'm Jason Ball, President and CEO of the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. I'm here in the AOI Podcast Studio at the Lincoln Chamber. And I want to, before we get going on this episode, I want to invite everybody, please go to our website at lcoc.com and under the Newsroom tab. If you're listening to this, you can hear all the back episodes of the Business Link podcast. Take a moment to check those out. We had a really big year last year. We produced over 30 of these video podcasts. A lot of great news, a lot of fun stories, a lot of time to celebrate what's going on in Lincoln. And we are so excited to have another full series here in 2025. So check that out at lcoc.com at our Newsroom tab. I'm very excited for our interview to kick the year off here in 2025. And I am have the great pleasure of hosting Dr. John Skretta. Dr. Skretta is our Interim Superintendent of Lincoln Public Schools. Welcome to the AOI Podcast Studio.
Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate the opportunity, and we are very grateful on behalf of the Lincoln Public Schools for the supportive, wonderful partnership with the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. So thanks for the opportunity to talk with you for a few minutes today.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Now, I mentioned the formal title is Interim Superintendent, and so we are, I think, pretty clearly kind of in between some permanent circumstances.
Right.
Just we'll talk about a lot of things, but I'm eager to just for folks that maybe haven't had an opportunity to hear you talk about it publicly, and you've been in a lot of places in the community talking about this. What is the plan or the process maybe that the LPS board has given the district to follow to figure out what the interim is going to look like and then what a permanent superintendent is going to look like?
Sure. Really appreciate that question. So with the mid-year departure and that juncture being a December end of service date for Dr. Gossman, our immediate predecessor and most recent Lincoln Public Schools superintendent, Paul's term of service on the day-in, day-out basis of fulfilling the superintendency concluded on December the 27th. And so the board looked to figure what is the best way to establish and maintain momentum going forward for the school district, and determine that an internal placement would be best. And our team is working diligently together to support our district in meeting all of our students' needs and supporting our staff through the spring semester. I was previously in and was brought on by Dr. Gossman to join the team July 1, 2024 as the Associate Superintendent for Civic Engagement. Phenomenal opportunity, love that position, have since stepped into the interim role and am fully embracing that role. That being said, our team has each shouldered additional level of responsibilities during the spring semester. And later this week, we will be interviewing finalists for the Associate Superintendent for Civic Engagement job with a July 1 start date. So for the 25-26 school year, because the term of the interim superintendency for LPS is 18 months. It's January this month, right on through June of 2026. And that is designed to empower the board, and the configuration of our board is going to change. So without getting into too much complexity here, the current Board of Education, under the great leadership of President Dr. Bob Rauner, Vice President Kathy Danick, and that board made the determination that they did not want to overstep and overcommit a future board, because we have 3 long-serving incumbent board members who are not running for re-election. So they wanted to empower the next configuration of the Lincoln Public Schools Board of Education to be best situated to make that determination long-term about who the next long-term, or i.e. permanent superintendent of the Lincoln Public Schools should be. And then they can jump into a national search or make whatever determinations they want about who that person fulfilling that position should be.
Yeah, well, and that's a long view approach that they are taking. And I would also say, in my limited experience in seeing transitions in a position like this, so that's a long interim period. Maybe longer than I would have expected normally, and so that sort of necessitates, I think, typically when we have an interim in any kind of a role in the chamber or other organizations, the interim's there to keep the lights on, keep the trains moving on time, not really move big things. But, you can do that for, 3 months. You can do that for 5 months. You can't get away with that in a district this big for a year and a half. And so in your time as interim, like, do you have big initiatives that you're going to keep moving on? How does this team continue to move forward on big strategic goals that have already been started by this board and previous leadership?
Yeah, multiple answers there. Absolutely, yes, and we must move forward like all systems go.
Yeah.
And just want to explain that with the 18-month interim, it's incumbent on me shouldering that responsibility and serving as the interim superintendent and our team to understand that the work that we do is too fundamentally important in terms of supporting our students and helping our students achieve at optimal levels to simply press pause. So the approach that I'm taking to the interim is to ensure that I'm not merely treading water for 18 months and we're not pressing cruise control. We have some very clearly identified strategic plan goals that are very important for the school district and important for ensuring our students achieve their highest potential, and can talk about some of those. That being said, what's most important, I think, to just message out there is an understanding that we are moving forward with full momentum because our students deserve it, and our city and our school district require it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I want to back up just a touch though, because you and I got to work together just a little bit in your previous role, mostly wrapped around policy and
We did.
legislative issues and other community issues. But I'm curious to know, like, what led you to education as an industry? What led you to teaching? Why and how did you make the jump into admin? And then, you led Norris School District for a long time, and then and have come back to Lincoln. Tell us that evolution.
Yeah, so my roots are LPS,
Yeah.
and so I'd aspired for a long time to have an opportunity to be able to come back to Lincoln Public Schools in a leadership position. Certainly did not foresee jumping into the interim after having come back as associate superintendent. That being said, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So my roots in education, Lincoln Public Schools, specifically my points of reference are my pre-service work when I was still a student at the University of Nebraska studying to become an educator. I had great practicum opportunities at Northeast High School and then student taught at Lincoln High.
Yeah.
And then I was hired on at Northeast High School as a reading and English teacher. And basically my first decade in education, I was at Northeast High and was hired by Jerry Wilkes, someone whom myself and many others have looked to as a mentor and an inspiring educational leader. And I started out teaching and absolutely loved the classroom environment, the relationships and rapport you get to establish with students. The colleagues in the English department at Northeast were phenomenal. Near the end of my first year as a teacher, I was voluntold to serve on a committee that was the purpose of which was to help define ways in which we could support credit deficient high school students.
Yeah.
So by credit deficient, we mean students who are no longer on track to graduate with their grade level cohort. And what we came up with was, and this was an awesome teacher committee collaborative group, and we were told by Jerry Wilkes, the principal, hey, any and all ideas welcome. Throw everything but the kitchen sink at these problems because we want to get our kids through school successfully. And we came up with a very collaborative, team-taught, interdisciplinary school within a school program. It was actually called SCORE. Like, we even came up with a great acronym. And that SCORE was School and Community Opportunities for Relevant Education. And I taught in that, and the opportunity to help design, develop, and institute an innovative program, it really inspired me, and it enhanced my awareness that if I wanted those experiences consistently, I should probably look at an administrative pathway. And again, the figure of Jerry Wilkes as a just classic veteran, old school principal, always in the suit, kind of an imposing presence. He was a Husker lineman when he was in college. I think he even roomed with Frank Solich, like he was that era,
Nice.
1966, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. And Jerry liked to, always joke that, hey, Skretta, I got one good block left in me, so, look out. But he was someone who, what he exhibited in the principalship that inspired me as an aspiring administrative leader was he was someone whom you could always walk into his office, you could drop in,
Yeah.
and within a matter of a couple minutes, you felt listened to, you felt heard, and you felt supported. And that didn't necessarily mean anything really specific was promised.
Yeah.
It was just the reassurance of a caring, mentoring presence that encouraged you to do your best every day. And that was really inspiring to me and really, I think, set me off on that pathway.
Well, those are always special leaders that can engender that feeling of being heard. So you made the jump to Norris as the Norris School District, I should say, as a teacher. Right?
Yeah, I went to I taught at Northeast, and then I became a coordinator.
Okay.
So I was an instructional coordinator at Northeast High School, and then I was an associate principal my final 3 or 4 years there.
Got it.
And then I was looking for opportunities in the principalship.
Yeah.
And Norris High School was open, and I'd had some interaction with some of the crew over there at Norris, the superintendent, Roy Baker. Galen Bolt was moving into the assistant superintendency, and it seemed like a great opportunity. I'd heard a lot of great things about Norris over the years. So in the summer of 2004, I went out to Norris as the high school principal. Interesting historical footnote on that. What I thought was going to be the Norris experience was decidedly very different in the summer of 2004, because in May of 2004, the Hallam tornado kind of decimated the Norris campus.
Wow.
And so going out there under that situation of really a drastic campus rebuild, and under a situation where a natural disaster had inflicted devastation on not just the Norris school campus, but on the broader Norris community. I will tell you that it brought everyone together, and the cohesiveness of that community under duress was really inspiring and was a great place. I ended up being out at Norris for a run of 15 years, 9 of which I served as the school district superintendent. And we had, many great interactions over the years with our fellow Lancaster County school districts, of course, Lincoln Public Schools, and Malcolm and Waverly as well. So, yeah.
Well, and we're happy to have you back in Lincoln and on the team now. I'm curious to know from, we were talking about big initiatives and keeping moving on strategy earlier. Like, can you describe maybe one or two of the major initiatives that are on your mind right now of LPS cannot afford to lose momentum here, and this is where our team's going?
Yeah, and I want to be clear, these are not my ideas. These are our commitments. Like these are shared school district and honestly community commitments based upon a really significant input-driven process that resulted in the Board of Education adopting a formal strategic plan. And the timeline for that is 2024 through 2029.
And that was, I'm sorry to jump in, that was completed and released in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
a recent plan.
Very recent plan. And so that's where, to reference earlier comment, all systems go and forward momentum, because some of the targets that are spelled out in the strategic plan that are very, very important for us include continuing to increase our on-time graduation rate. That's profoundly important. I mean, the basic reality is that high school diploma is your ticket to the playing field, right? It can get you out there in the workforce, or it can prepare you for additional post-secondary education that results in a productive career and opportunities to be a great citizen contributing to the overall societal good. Absent that, people struggle,
Mhm.
and so we've got to continue to work on increasing graduation rate. I believe our target for 2029 is to attain at least an 87% on-time graduation rate. There are other indicators. That's one of them that I think is most important. We also want to attain increases, significant percentile increases in national assessments over that 2024 through 2029 period. And we're doing that because that's a key marker of student achievement, and we want to strive for ever higher student achievement outcomes. Those are a couple.
Yeah.
Another one starts really at the other end of the continuum, and it's continued increased outcomes on the GOLD early childhood assessment. So another one there. And then when we talk about civic engagement, one of the things that we're looking to do, and I want to expound on this a little bit more if time permits here, is we're looking for increases in the percentage of family, parents, and community members who indicate that they've had an opportunity to make an impact on the Lincoln Public Schools. They've been invited. They feel invited to make a difference and to join us, kind of in solidarity to support our students.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and now I want to make sure that I share, when we talk with visiting business leaders from outside of the community, and they come here when we had our strategic plan consultants in here, 2.5 years ago now. It's something that I think folks that maybe haven't lived elsewhere, that maybe haven't experienced other school districts, they don't know how good we have it here.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because there's consultants that are looking for just different school options, or they come from areas where private school maybe is a little bit more prevalent, or other different kinds of school models. Whereas here, we have some great other models, and I don't want to criticize them at all, but our public school system is just so strong.
It's
And
exemplary.
that's based on consultants coming in here saying we would not have these options in other cities that the consultants work with. So it's really a great testament, I think, from outside verification, that we've got a robust and engaged school system. Sure, things can always be better, but boy, the teachers and staff and administrators here in LPS, I think, have done a great job in having a reason for families like mine to come back and have their kids in the school system.
Appreciate that. And Jason, having kids in the system, the profound positive impact that our dedicated classroom teachers have every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to the amazingly talented teachers across the Lincoln Public Schools and the great work they do every day. And I'm not saying that to be self-serving, because my son is a second-year teacher at Northwest High School.
Well, look, our time is just about up here, but before we sign off, I want to just check in. How can businesses, you talked about families having an opportunity to feel like they can impact the school district. That's a great thing, and that should be something that I think every school district strives for. How about the business community? Are there ways the business community can think about being involved in a different or closer way with their local school system?
Yeah, so there's several ideas that come to mind that I just want to mention quickly, because I think lifting up each one of these is important for our collective work. The first thing is, we are blessed in the Lincoln Public Schools to have the Foundation for Lincoln Public Schools, FLPS. They do an amazing job, and there's lots of opportunities for charitable giving that has a great positive impact. Secondarily, I want to mention, and no less importantly, volunteer opportunities are abundant in the Lincoln Public Schools, and we have so many formalized different partnerships, such as Junior Achievement. That would be one that I'd uphold as kind of a pinnacle program that provides an opportunity for the business community to have a direct classroom impact that supports student outcomes. That's amazing. And then every chance I get, I'm going to be a champion for the Teammates Mentoring Program.
Yeah.
I just, I look at, and just last week had the opportunity to attend and address the Teammates Recognition Banquet at the train station, Great Hall. Amazing turnout of 300 people of one mind, just kind of committed to doing the right thing to support an individual student by sharing an hour of your time, the gift of your time, to support a student who, as they say, not every child needs a mentor. Every child deserves a mentor. And we are seeking and actively recruiting additional teammates, mentors. And we have a program that is the very best school-based mentoring program nationally, and the biggest chapter, the most robust chapter in terms of membership and impact is right here in Lincoln Teammates, and we work in great partnership with the National Teammates Office, and anything that we can do to encourage businesses to say, hey, we are creating the conditions for which our employees can volunteer and commit that 1 hour a week to a child who needs a mentor, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Dr. Skretta, I think we could fill another 3 episodes with this. I'm sure we'll need to have you back here in the future as things evolve. But thank you for joining us here in the AOI Podcast Studio. Just real quick, I'm going to try to put you on the spot without meaning to. Teammates, you mentioned. Do you happen to know the website of Teammates, or people can find it by Googling, I'm sure.
Teammates.org.
Teammates.org. And then I believe LPS.org is the school district website. So teammates.org and LPS.org. Please go there, check it out. A lot of good information on these resources online. As well, I just want to encourage everybody to go check out lcoc.com. Check out that newsroom feed that we have here. And Dr. Skretta, thank you for a great conversation today.
Thank you, Jason. Greatly appreciate the opportunity.
All right. We'll see you all next time.